school teaches you a lot of things, how to solve equations and, essays and all that stuff, and passing your tests. But one thing that it doesn't really teach at all is how to take care of your mental health, and honestly, that's the part I need the most, probably in general. And the truth is, you spend most of your teenage years in a classroom, right? Surrounded by people, and, trying to keep your grades up, at least decent, and deal with, maybe your job or your friends or, your problems at home, which is all of it in general, right? And somehow you're just supposed to handle it all by yourself. Teachers will notice if you're late on homework, late to class or whatever. They'll notice if you bomb a test or whatever, but, they don't really notice if you're fighting battles in your head every day. Now, I'm not saying this is the teacher's problem or fault, because it's not, because just like us, they're human. They fight their own battles too. And I know sometimes we forget they're human because we view them as our teacher. But I just wish mental health was taken more seriously in schools, not just a poster on the wall that nobody pays attention to, because that's at least what it's like at my school. And you start to feel really invisible, because it's not that the teachers don't care. They do, some do, but the system is not built around it. Like, mental health isn't on the lesson plan at all, ever. They're just there to get you through the curriculum, and they don't ask if you're okay. Like, I probably don't hear that from teachers at all, rarely, honestly. And because nobody really talks about it a lot, and then because of that, a lot of us end up thinking, we're too weak for struggling, which is not true. We're just human, right? That's gonna happen. It always does, and it's going to continue to do that. And something that just makes it worse is, in some schools, if you talk to a counselor, like, I'm not speaking from experience here because I've never done this before, but I've heard from other people that they just immediately call your parents. And I mean, yeah, that's necessary. It depends. Like, if you're at risk of, hurting yourself or, whatever, then that's when they have to do it legally, right? But, not everyone needs to know, right? Like, come on. And the lack of, like, that confidentiality, it makes a lot of students, like, not want to do that at all. And I did some research, and it's like nearly 1 in 5 teens deal with, like, a mental health issue, but most schools won't give you real tools to handle it, I feel like. And if you want to put that in perspective, if you sit at a table of 5 people, one of them, at least one, has, their own problems and stuff, and I feel like empathy is kind of overlooked, and I don't really see it happening as much anymore. And maybe I'm just over observant, or maybe I'm just not seeing it as clearly as I want to, but I feel like I wish someone would have told me that, like, mental health is just as real or more important than, your physical health, and that the burnout, anxiety, and depression, you're not a failure for feeling that. They're just signals that something needs attention and something, needs to change. And it's okay to ask for help, even if nobody around you seems to care or understand, right? Because someone does, your family does, and because of that, you learn to hide it, and you learn to smile, just faking a lot of things, I feel like. And you just turn in the assignment because the teacher said so. You go through the regular school motions every day, even when, you're falling apart inside. And yeah, I know, me personally, it sucks, and for anyone else, it sucks. Like, it really does. And the crazy part about it is that school rewards, perfect attendance, never missing a deadline, straight A's, even if you sacrificed everything just to, keep it all together. And I kind of just feel like that's not okay at all. And something I've learned, the hard way over time is, like, is that your mental health matters more than any grade. Because if you burn out, if you collapse inside, none of the other stuff really means anything, right? Like, it's kind of just there for no reason. For me, I know things like journaling, even if it's a little bit, the gym, talking to your one real best friend, because I know everyone out there has to have at least one best friend, like the real one, and doing that can help you way more than any lesson in class ever did, right? Because I didn't learn coping skills from a textbook. I learned them from myself, just from my experiences when I had to survive, right? Because I was never taught how to by school or anything. And what I think needs to change is that school needs to actually teach people how to deal with stress, how to check in with ourselves, and how to process emotions. Because at my school, I know they'll just say that and remind you of it, but they won't actually teach you anything, which is like, alright. But, like, I'd imagine if it was just like a normal as math homework or anything like that, but it would actually, we have safe spaces in school to talk about it without being feared or judged. Because let's be real, if school is one to prepare us for life, then mental health should be a part of that, I feel like. So something I want to, take take away from this is that don't wait for teachers or schools to tell you it's okay to take care of your mind, because they probably won't. And you have to be responsible enough to make that decision for yourself. And then when you do, you realize that your mental health isn't something extra. It's the foundation for everything in your life that you do. And if you feel alone, remember that you're not, and none of these battles we fight are always alone. Like, we always have to have someone there for us, right? And I want people to talk about this more often. I feel like the more we do, it's gonna become harder for schools and parents to ignore this type of stuff, and just the system school is built around. So yeah, I hope that helps someone out there.